Dear Dhamma masters and fellow practitioners, please open up the material and take a look at the third paragraph in Chinese. The sutra says, wherever Buddha's teaching prevails, which refers to Buddha's teaching is widely spread and followed. In those areas, whether in the great nation or remote areas, all people receiving Buddha's teaching will perform moral conducts. As such, the whole wide world will be in great peace and harmony. Even the sun and the moon shines in the sky in proper order, and there will be no storms or strong wind, and there will be no natural disasters. Country will be in good health, and people will be in great harmony. There will be no need to use weapons or soldiers. Everyone loves to cultivate virtues and moral conducts. Everyone respects each other, and therefore there will be no theft or robbery in the country. There will be no complaints whatsoever, because the stronger one will not defeat the weak one, and everybody is happy in where they are. From the above-mentioned sutra, it clearly describes the true benefit of a Buddha education. The above-mentioned sutra, a statement, was quoted from the Infinite Life Sutra, and it came from a very important part of that sutra. It says, wherever Buddha's teaching prevails means wherever the Buddha Dhamma education is popular and widely followed. In those areas where it may be a country, maybe a city, or maybe a village, 12 different types of true benefits can be realized, from the peace of the world to happiness of individuals. There are a total of 12 types of true benefits. A famous Buddhist scholar, Mr. Mei Guangxi, he is famous in the south part of China, just like the famous Buddhist scholar and practitioner Shalinji in the north area of China. They all have great understanding and strong influence to the modern Mahayana Buddhism in China. Mr. Mei Guangxi once said, in order to promote Buddha Dhamma in today's world, we need to promote the Pure Lane teachings. In order to promote the Pure Lane teachings, must first promote the Great Sutra, which means the Infinite Life Sutra. If everyone can practice the Great Sutra, then the universal law of cause and conditions will become very clear in everyone's mind, and therefore everyone's body and mind will be pure. And I have my personal interpretation of this purity of body and mind. That is, if the mind is pure, then the environment automatically becomes pure. And then the bad time of this world will automatically turning around and peace will arrive. The above are statements made by Mr. Mei Guangxi, but in reality, it is not that easy, because even all Buddhas mentioned that Pure Land teachings are very difficult to believe. Although since ancient time we have many great scholars, masters, and teachers promote Pure Land, but the result was not as good as it should be. The main resistance or obstacle came from the reasoning or the explanation of a Pure Land is not that easy. Except those students or disciple who has excellent good karma in the Buddha Dharma, accumulated from previous lifetimes. And these kind of people are usually not very many. For those people, the majority people, their karma in the Buddha Dharma are not so profound and still practice Amitabha Name, the result usually not as good as it should be. And yet, if a person knows sincerely, knows thoroughly the true benefit of chanting Amitabha Name, and just by doing such a simple practice, will be able to born into Pure Land and suffer no more. It is only for those who has great and deep, profound good karma to be able to do that. Although the short version of Amitabha Sutra describe in very simple language about the Pure Land, but there's a lot other meanings, not totally revealed. And therefore, it is necessary to study all main sutras and sastras of the Pure Land school. But once a person studies the 5 main sutras of the Pure Land school, then they become confused or perplexed. And that's why I promote we as a student, as a person who believe in Buddha Dharma, but karma in this area is still not profound enough. We need to first recite, chant the Infinite Life Sutra. If we recite and chant daily of this Infinite Life Sutra, then the faith will be gradually become stronger. Otherwise, just tell people the right thing to do without proper preparation spiritually, then they still chant Amitabha, but the result and effectiveness will not be there. On the other hand, if one starts with more recitation and chanting daily on the Infinite Life Sutra, the true faith will be generated. With true faith, then recite Amitabha's name, the result can be very good. Many people ask me and particularly those in mainland China, ask why Venerable Jing Kong always promote the chanting of this sutra. They even ask a great scholar, Mr. Huang Lianzhu, over Peking. And Mr. Huang said, this is the sincere attitude and insight of Venerable Jing Kong. In the Buddha Dharma, it says the environment changes according to the change of the mind. Nowadays, many governments are promoting or taking actions against the contamination of the earth from all aspects. But from Buddhism point of view, the result won't be so pronounced. Because whatever we can do to the material environment is dealing with the result. The root cause lies in the mind. And the scientists also predicted waste contamination today continues for 50 years, then this earth will no longer be fitable for living, for human being to live. So the real root cause should be dealing with the mind and should start with the purity of the mind. And that's why, since ancient time, great masters realized this point and promote actively the teachings of the Pure Land. Today, the world is in great chaos. All people wish to have a good government and put the society in proper order. And everyone do sincerely wish the whole wide world will be in peace and harmony. And everyone do realize we need to quickly do something about this and turn the bad environment around and change out violence. And wish all sentient beings, in order to do that, all sentient beings need to bear a good heart, do good things, speak good statements, and act as a good person. In order to reach these four good things, the only way to be able to reach this goal is education, the education of complete enlightenment. And to do that, we need to collect all the great statements, words of wisdom from ancient sages and holy people in China and all other countries as well, because to establish the common understanding. Because today is a democratic society or time. One theory or philosophy with authority cannot govern or rule other theories. And no one would follow the same one dictatorship type of theory or authority, because this society is a society of freedom in speech, freedom of thinking, and freedom to establish groups or organizations. Buddha also said, in order to have the sane understanding, practitioners need to have or share the same viewpoints. In order to cultivate harmoniously, practitioners need to share and follow the same precepts. So I'd like to give you an example of how to establish common understanding by giving you the true example in the Chinese history. In the Qing dynasty, there are three great emperors, one following another. The Emperor Kangxi, Yongzheng, and Qianlong. They are not the Chinese. They are Manchurians. And yet they rule China with great success. And how do they rule the country so successfully? Because they made a rule to themselves in the palace that everyone should read the Infinite Life Sutra, and also use that to teach all the people that one should do all the good things. And the reasoning behind that was not because it's said by the emperor, particularly emperor from the border area. They quote the holy statements from Buddha's teaching, and this is the cleverness of these emperors, because the Chinese people probably going to have a different opinion about these people as dictators. But when they quote the holy statement and they also abide by these words of wisdom, then all people in China at that time completely convinced, and they all together create very harmonious society. And that was a tradition for the Qing dynasty's emperor of each generation until the later time of the Qing dynasty. The Venerable Lady Cixi Taihou decided to drop this reading of Infinite Life Sutra, and because of that political decision, the Qing dynasty gradually going downhill. If they do not remove this good habit, this traditional policy, today we probably still the citizen of the great Qing dynasty. Therefore, to establish common understanding today, we need to use the Great Sutra for ourselves. In order to establish common understanding for the whole wide world, we need to use all the holy statements, words of wisdom from all the great peoples in history, and use that as common understanding, and that will convince people of different kind. There are numerous precious teachings through times and at different places and countries. Take the Chinese history, for example. In the Ming Dynasty, Emperor Yongle was a great emperor. He has put effort together and compiled a great collection of Yongle. In the Qing Dynasty, the Kangxi Emperor Kangxi, did the same thing by compiling all the great books into into a huge volume. It's called a complete collection of all books. And then in the Emperor Qianlong in Qing Dynasty, he did even a greater job. Through his effort, a great encyclopedia of Siku was established. By the way, we do have such an encyclopedia of this huge volume in the next door, room 501. Unfortunately, the children of China today cannot read the ancient wisdom written in these great collections of encyclopedia. I remember one time when I visit to a famous Chinese bookstore in Taiwan, a publisher, 商务印书馆. That person told me if the person is born and assume he can read right away, to read the great encyclopedia of 四库全书 until the age 120 years, he still cannot finish the reading. So, after I heard this statement, who has the courage even try to start reading? But if we do not read or study such great collection of the ancient wisdom, we really are not good children of the Chinese tradition and culture. So for many years, I contemplate about this question: how do we make this huge volumes in the Chinese traditional collection, the collection of traditional books, and also the Buddhism's canon, to make them readable? How do we summarize the important parts of the huge volumes and make a small book so everyone can read? And the principle, I believe, is to compile the essential statements, the important statements, which is not complicated because modern people don't have the patience, and those which are feasible, easy to carry out in daily life, put into books. And these summarized books can be distributed around the world so everyone can study and benefit from it. So I was thinking about this for many years, and now it seems to be possible. The Christianity has the Holy Bible, which is not much at all when compared with Buddhism's sutras and sastras. My wish is to collect the holy, valuable statements from the Chinese traditional books, and also Buddhism's wisdom into a small book which may be only 50% thickness or size of the Bible. And if we can achieve this, then we can make the ancient wisdom alive again and distribute to all people. And then we will be a good children of the Chinese tradition, and we will be able to return the kindness of the ancient ancestors. There are many wise maxims from the ancient time. However, because it's ancient, the language is kind of too deep to understand. But we noticed in some popular books available in the bookstores, such as the Moral Conduct Collection for the Youth, the 延寿要言, and talk of the vegetable roots. That's a pretty popular books for individuals' moral conduct and cultivation. But the 延寿要言, that book was not that easy to read. We need to collect the ancient maxims and compile into books like just mentioned above, so that people don't have to spend time looking for these statements. I'd also like to recommend the principle of compiling such words of wisdom into popular books or pamphlets. Number one, to take those easy to read and short sentences. Do not take lengthy statements. Number two, to take those important and practical teachings, and do not take those impractical metaphysics. Number three, to take those true stories or cases, that is, benefits to individuals' moral conduct, happiness of the family, and successful career, because those are practical and is concerned by everyone. And also we need to collect based on the principle that is good for and also recognized by all religions and countries and people, or even between academies. We should do so that all people, all religion, feel those collections is true to their traditional thinking, and therefore eliminate or minimize the gap between nations and religions and so on and so forth. And those statements still good for the harmonious society, good for a prosperous country, good for the peace of the world. And those is the principle that I recommend should be based upon to collect as popular booklets for daily use. So if we could successfully, if it can be accomplished, to compile the words of wisdom of the ancient people and compile into booklets so that modern people can use on a daily basis and be benefit from it. When I give a Dharma talk, and it was not here but some other place, I did a teaching for the first time using the famous precept master Hong Yi Da Shi, his work called Wan Jing Ji, and that book was compiled by this great master, taken famous and practical statements from Buddhism and made a total of 101 statements. They are not related to each other, but every single statement are the valuable, precious teaching. And after I give that talk, concentrate about this 101 statement. Everyone attending that Dharma meeting was very happy, and myself also very happy teaching this 101 statement. Then I realized why to give a complete teaching of a sutra may not reach the same result, because if I am committed to give a sutra from the beginning to the end, then I have to talk every part of the sutra, and you, without choice, have to listen to all parts of the sutra. And the sutra may have some part that may not be so practical in your daily life. It may have some parts that's too deep to understand. That's why, in the process of teaching a complete sutra, there's high spirits and no spirits. But if we teach only those essential teachings important and interesting, then there will be only the high spirits among the audience. So I did, as an experiment, in the Great Enlightenment Lotus Society, a Buddhist organization in San Francisco, and I compiled 60 practical statements out of the Infinite Life Sutra. And that time, the audience number increased a lot, and everybody enjoyed the lectures for the selected portion of the Infinite Life Sutra, because those statements selected from the Infinite Life Sutra was particularly useful to modern people for their capacity and their necessity. In mainland China, there's something called a selective classical opera. They do not perform the complete opera, but only the most interesting part of opera, and that's why audience enjoy very much. So likewise, I think I should take the same approach to make it interesting and impressive to the audience, in order to achieve the goal of bear a good heart, to do good things, to speak good words, and be a good person. There are gaps between societies, gaps between countries, and between religions as well. And in ancient time, this gap are difficult to remove because of inconvenience of the traffic and because lack of proper communication. Today, communication become a lot easier, and traffic problem is no longer there. But there's still discrimination and preoccupied perception in existence, and those things are still the gap against each other. How do we eradicate or eliminate these gaps? I think all people, all nations need to understand each other. Through the understanding, they will respect each other. From respect of each other, they can live harmoniously and even help each other. For the Chinese society, we like to collect the wise wisdom of words from the ancient time until now into books, small pamphlets, booklets that can be used and translated into different languages for world distribution, so that other nations and culture will recognize the Chinese culture and its value, and therefore generate respect and hopefully to help us. Likewise, we Chinese people also like to understand the beauty of the Western cultures, or the words of wisdom from Quran of the Muslim and testimony of Christianity, and so on and so forth, and compile the words of wisdom that has universal value into small booklets and distribute to the Asian countries, so that Asian people also knows the value and beauty and kindness of the words or wisdom of the Western sage and holy people. With this proper understanding and mutual respect, then the world peace become possible. Oftentimes I heard people told me that the sutras are too deep and too profound that they do not understand. And how can they adapt the sutra and its essence to compile into booklets? I told them, if you do not understand, then just drop it out. Because if even you don't understand, how could people with intellectual level lower than you be able to understand? Therefore, we must compile the words of wisdom in order to suit for lower intellectual level people. And what level that should be, I think it should be to the level of junior high school student. There was a true story about the great man. He is father of the Republic of China, Dr. Sun Yat-sen. When he was giving a speech in Guangzhou, south part of the mainland China, and the principal of the Peking University was doing the writing for the speech. And after the writing was finished, the principal presented to Dr. Sun Yat-sen, said, there's only one part I do not understand. And Dr. Sun Yat-sen, without looking into that part, just crossed that whole paragraph out. And he said, if you, the principal of university and college, do not understand, how can other people or the general public be able to understand? So Dr. Sun Yat-sen is truly a great person. In Buddhism, there are many profound and deep teachings, and that's bound to be difficult to promote to average people. And I suggest every one of you go to our library and carry the whole canon home and study. For those statements you understand, write it down and help me summarize and collect useful and practical booklets in order to make a wide distribution and benefit other people. And this will be truly a merit of infinite benefit. When I was a student years ago, I spent 2 years in Christianity, study their teachings. I also spent 1 year study Muslim. So even today, I still respect them very highly and have a particular good feeling about them because I did spend a total of 3 years to those two great religions. Although I'm now a Buddhist monk and seems to be somewhat distant to other religion, but my good feeling and respect remains the same. Recently, I'm adopting important statements from the 5 sutras. The Infinite Life Sutra, the Contemplating Infinite Life Sutra, and one chapter of the Surangama Sutra about the great spiritual power Bodhisattva's complete and perfect practice on Buddha enchanting, and also I forgot the name of some book, some kind of a commentary book to a sutra, and the famous Qingyang Dashi interpretation of the one famous chapter of the Universe Sutra about the universal worthy Bodhisattva's great action and vows that particular sutra. I'm doing this work right now, and while I'm staying in the United States, in order to help people who have interest in the Christianity, I have therefore compiled words of wisdom from the Bible for a total of 600 statements. And I have confidence if they want to listen to my preaching about their Bible, I will do a better job than Christian reverends. Guess what? During these few days, you folks are reciting Buddha name chanting diligently on the second floor. Guess what I'm doing downstairs? I'm reading the holy book. I was studying the Quran of the Muslims' teaching. The fundamental teaching and precepts on Buddhism, which are no killing, no stealing, no committing adultery or sexual misconduct, and no lying. These are all common moral conducts and is widely abided by all religions, and I can find many examples from the Quran as well as in the Bible. So no matter what religion, these fundamental things, the basic principles are the same, which is to eradicate evils and cultivate goodness. Not only Buddha teaches us so, but God or Allah says the same. I wish disciples of other religion have a broader mind and willing to spend some time study the teaching of Buddha. Otherwise, their spiritual level will be one step lower than us. Why? Because I know their stuff and they don't know my stuff. So if we can study each other, understand each other, then we can respect each other, and eventually we can help each other and live together harmoniously. To the students of the Amitabha Society, I wish everyone will follow sincerely the teachings of all Buddhas, and particularly those truly beneficial teachings, and also determine one's mind to be born into the Pure Land at the end of this life without any doubt. And I also wish this place can be utilized as the concentrated study place in the new continent United States as a good example for the Pure Land School, and follow the good example set by the 13th Patriarch, Most Venerable Yingguang Zhu Si, and talk about Most Venerable Yingguang Zhu Si. I'd like to give you a little explanation. Most Venerable Yingguang Zhu Si, in his temple back in mainland China, his way place has constant Buddha name chanting sessions going on around the year. And his place has 3 unique characteristics. That is, all participants are equal. No one is somebody else's teacher, and no one is somebody else's disciple. Everybody are treated equally. Secondly, is no transmitting of the precepts. And thirdly, no Dhamma meetings, no teaching of the sutras, and no special ceremony for those person passed away. So these services so-called spiritual service are all cut off. And that is a good practice and was beneficial, because those who are able to participate and join the serious practice year-round chanting are usually person with profound understanding and deep faith about the Pure Land teachings. So if we're going to follow the same tradition and good example over here in the United States, we need to modify slightly, because students and friends here, they don't have deep faith and thorough understanding. So we need to add additional part to our practices here, that is to promote and actually conduct the teachings of the Pure Land Sutras. And the sutras will be based upon the 5 basic Pure Land Sutras and 1 Sestras. And the tradition we're going to establish here is to emphasize the importance of study and practice equally. Study is to study the 5 sutras and 1 sestras. The practice is the practice of Amitabha's Buddha name plus abide by the main guidelines in our daily life, which are the 3 felicities, 3 learnings, 6 harmonies, 6 paramitas, and the 10 great vows as explained in previous slides. And also encourage lay persons in this center at your leisure time. Please try to learn the sutras and study the sutras. Please also try to learn how to use the Dhamma tools or instruments in order to conduct Dhamma meetings by yourself, in order to give lectures and explanations about sutras by yourself. This is my expectation, and if you try, I will definitely help you with all. A lot of people have misconception about Buddhism and thought Buddhism make people become escapists from the society. All the teachings of Buddha Dhamma sounds rather pessimistic. These are misconceptions of average people thinking about Buddha Dhamma. Actually, Buddha Dhamma is wisdom that can be used to help the world become better and help all those who need help. In the process to achieve that, it is well within the scope of Mahayana concepts. And I wish this great understanding about the true spirit of Buddha Dhamma can be shared with other people, and Buddha Dhamma can be spread successfully to help all beings. Then every one of us need to practice very hard, need to have a true understanding of the Buddha Dhamma. Then go one step further to help others. For ourselves, we need to concentrate with a single mind in one direction. The Chinese word Jing Jing, the first one refers to working diligently. Jing means making progress in one direction. And if one can be benefited first, then one will be able to help others. And eventually, all people on earth will receive the benefits. So the ultimate goal of promoting Buddha Dharma is to make every family happy, everybody happy, country prosperous, the world in great harmony, and Buddha light shining to all places. That is actually the whole purpose of all Buddhas come to the world, and their purpose is not more than those goals mentioned above. 6 days has passed out of the 7-day Buddha-name chanting session, and the teachings has complete successfully up to now. Tomorrow, we're going to have a grand dedication of the merits of our chanting for the past few days to benefit all others. And the day after tomorrow, a special ceremony will be conducted to bless all the souls who has passed away from this earth. Originally, I had intention to explain to you and help you practice during the 7 days the Amitabha Sutra's commentary made by the great master Yi Dashi, but because of the English translator's availability, I changed my original schedule, because if we can have the essence of Mahayana Buddhism be translated into English, such as tapes or books, then all Americans and the beginners who do not understand Chinese will be benefit. So actually, it is sidetracks to your practice of chanting Amitabha name. But I think if you thought about those people who need Buddha Dharma and never had a chance to understand that in English, you probably would help them by sacrifice yourself a little bit. And I will try my best in the future to still address about the Amitabha Sutra commentaries as I originally planned to you and benefit your knowledge.